Hello everyone, it's Victoria for Slurp Vision, and today we have an insider tip on how to store wine. And first, let's go over the three most important factors on what to consider with wine storage. The most important factor is actually the temperature, and the idea is to stay cool and consistent. About 12 or 13 degrees Celsius or 55 Fahrenheit for the temperature, and consistent in the sense that you just don't want it to fluctuate between warm and cold all the time. The reason you don't want it to be too warm is because it accelerates the aging process in the bottle, and not in a good way. So when you're storing the wine at home, try to keep it away from any heat, definitely away from any radiators that are going to warm up the wine. The other factor to consider is light, as in you want to stay away from it. Whether it's sunlight or even light from a lamp, all of those things can adversely react with the phenolic compounds in the wine and break it down further. So we want to keep it in a dark place. And that's actually why you see a lot of wines packaged in kind of dark glass bottles to kind of protect from the UV filters that come through and break down the wine. Final factor to consider is humidity. So you don't want your storage space to be too dry. What can happen is the cork will dry out, it'll crumble when you go to open it, and you just don't want to have that happen. The fridge space is okay, but it's actually very dry air in there. So it's okay to keep the wine just before serving it, but it's really not ideal for long-term wine storage. So you now know the most important factors to consider. You want to store your wine in a cool place, away from any direct sunlight, and not anywhere too dry so the cork crumbles. And of course, make sure you store it horizontally, again, to make sure that the cork stays moist. Now, if you're really passionate about wine and you want to take your storage to the next level, watch this next part. We're here with Daskal at Around Wine in Marylebone, and he's going to tell us about, I think, a more interesting, more exciting way of storing your wine for real wine enthusiasts that want to take a little bit greater care of their wine. What we're looking at is actually Eurocav. So can you just tell us a little bit more about the company?
Sure. No one made a wine fridge before Eurocav.
Okay.
They've been doing it longer and we think better than anybody else. They don't make any other products. They
Okay,
only make wine storage
then.
products.
Yeah.
And it's the accuracy and the constancy of the environment they create that makes them fairly unique.
Because they are, they're not cheap though. Why is it different than a refrigerator, just that you'd have at home? What's the difference?
They're not cheap, as you say,
Yeah.
but they're generally, the cost of one of these is a hell of a lot less than the value of the wine that people put in them.
Absolutely, yeah.
And the difference is that a normal domestic fridge is much, much colder, much, much drier, and the variety of temperatures you'll have in your fridge at home, they'll always be cold at the top, and they'll get warm as you go down.
So there's not that consistency that you'd get here.
No, here you have a super consistent product, same temperature, top, middle and bottom, to give you a perfect wine cellar that you can set at any single temperature, but it comes set at 12 degrees, which is the perfect wine storage temperature.
And it's an important point you mentioned our fridge is drier because you need a little bit of humidity, don't you?
You do.
Yeah.
The units will keep the humidity minimum 50%. Usually it'll be higher. It takes averages over time, and because Britain's an island with a river running through it, through London and many other cities, we're pretty humid anyway. And humidity is only relevant for longer storage. It doesn't matter about humidity today. It's more about the wine over time that you're going to keep in here.
The difference between the panels, does it make a difference if it's a glass door or a solid door, or is it just aesthetics?
Well, the black one, which is here at the end of the run, is the standard door.
Okay.
If you just order one, that's the door you get.
Okay.
You can choose to upgrade to a clear door, which looks a lot nicer.
More beautiful, yeah, definitely.
Much more attractive. It means you can see the lights behind it, you can see the wine inside, you can see where your wines are, and it's also UV filtered. So it's double glazed, UV filtered, so the wine's fully protected from UV light, which is the enemy of wine.
So we're kind of covering light, temperature, humidity, all the major
three
factors.
main factors.
Yeah, excellent. And also, how many wines does it store in the unit?
It stores up to 180. The size of bottle will affect the capacity, and what you do is you lay out a case per layer, and if you do have some extra large bottles, you can take a shelf out, you can adjust the heights, and the bottles all sit beautifully arranged on their own platform.
Looks really good, very professional.
It's a great place to keep all your wine at home. Get it out from under the bed.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Daniel.
You're welcome, thanks.
We're here with Daskal at Around Wine, and he's going to tell us about some of the units here today. We're very excited to see them.
Thank you. Here we go.